welcome to SME Focus. I'm Mark Weymouth from the Sensor Specialist Plus Automation. This podcast aims to highlight aspects of UK manufacturing with topics of particular interest to SMEs. My guest today is Jon Stone, Managing Director at the wet paint spraying and powder coating business Frederick Cooper in the centre of Birmingham. Morning, Jon.
Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to see you. Let's talk about a business that I think is pretty well known in the West Midlands and hopefully far beyond.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, so I guess one of the most impressive things to kick off it with is the fact you've been with the company for 28 years. So if we go back to 1997, which to me kind of doesn't feel a long time ago, but I guess to some of the audience probably does now. 28 years, so you've, I guess, worked at Frederick Cooper as both man and boy.
Yeah, it does feel a long time now. January 97 I started. I think in our sort of pre-discussion you referenced the Spice Girls were number one at the time with Two Becomes One, and I've been at Frederick Cooper so long it feels like I've become part of Frederick Cooper, I think. So probably quite apt, a bit cheesy to say so, but there you go.
So I guess you've got to be the perfect man then. Can you tell us a bit about Frederick Cooper, particularly its history? It's a very long, well-established business. So tell us about the company history and the market you serve nowadays.
Yeah, sure. So we've actually been in business since 1879. We sort of predate the Peaky Blinders, and we're in the Peaky Blinders territory of Birmingham, sort of Small Heath, Bawdsley Green. We've been on our current site since 1982. And I've been here, as you say, since January 97. So yeah, 28 years. In that time, when I started there, we were doing paint spraying and powder coating, a lot more stove enamelling. And in those days, it was very much high volume components for kind of Ford and General Motors and people like that. We'd be doing 10,000 mirror stems a day for Ford, for instance. Wow. Over the years, it's really transitioned to a lot more plastic parts, bit of carbon fibre, very much automotive, but our customers are more now these days sort of Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, etc. Lower volume premium manufacturers who are still building cars in the UK to a very high standard. So we've really improved the quality of what we produce and what we send out. So we basically supply very high quality painted and powder coated parts, mainly for the automotive industry, but other industries as well.
Okay, interesting. So going back to your beginning, so to speak, you did a degree in accounting, but I'm interested to notice that you very quickly moved from accountancy across to sales, and then within a couple of years joined Frederick Cooper and did an awful lot of years in sales. So what prompted that switch from accounting to selling?
I think during my degree of accounting, I knew that accountancy wasn't for me. I kind of ended up at Frederick Cooper after a couple of years working at Rover Group in Longbridge, actually. And I'd been in the sales block there. And I think it's a little bit by chance that I ended up at Frederick Cooper in the world of coatings. But I think whatever industry I'd have been in, I'd have ended up in the sort of customer service side, customer facing department of that business. I think that's me. I'm about looking after people and looking after customers. So whether I'd ended up in, I don't know, the hairdressing industry or paint or cars or aeroplanes or whatever it had been, it would have been a customer facing role and making sure our customers are looked after to the highest possible standards, really.
Okay, cool. So jumping forward in time to just over 4 years ago, I think you took on the role of managing director. So that was probably just after the last of the COVID lockdowns, but a hell of a time to pick up the mantle of MD for an automotive or any manufacturing business. So can you tell us about that and the challenges you've seen in the past sort of 4 years, how you've addressed them, and I guess also share any observations or thoughts that might be of interest for SME manufacturers?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a very interesting time and a very fast learning experience for me to move into that MD's role. I think what I've tried to do is keep that customer focus as part of the business, and then sort of very quickly realize that, you know, you can't do everything yourself. So I've built and put in place a really strong team around me who, you know, basically run the business. And that's, you know, really good senior managers in the business, really good engineers, really good supervisors, foremen, and all through the business. I think we've got a lot of trust and a lot of teamwork going on. And that's what's made Frederick Cooper the successful business. You know, we're 100% a people business. We employ 160 people. Everything we do is very manual, and there's no robots or automation here at the moment. That might be something we do in the future, because we might have to adapt a little bit, but we tend to do the jobs, the really difficult jobs that people can't do on automated paint plants and things. Yeah. There's a lot of craftsmanship and skill that goes into what we do, so we need really good hands-on people looking at parts at every turn, not so much, you know, sat behind a screen in an office. So we built a really good team of people to do that and look after our customers' parts. We don't make anything, you know, our customers trust us with their components, and we sort of add value by painting them and making them look really pretty on the outside, but also those coatings have got to perform and meet automotive interior and exterior specifications. So there's a lot of effort goes in to make sure that they look amazing and they perform, you know, in the toughest of automotive environments.
Okay, well, maybe going forward I'll bend your ear about automation, if not robotics. But talking of a link to last week's episode, I did read a bit of PR put out that you've started working with an external marketing company, for example, and obviously on last week's episode I was talking to Pull the Pin agency, so I think there's a bit of continuity from last week through to this week then.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Sam Houghton and his team at Pull the Pin, we've been engaged with for a few months now, and that's going really well. We're using them to help put the word out there. Frederick Cooper, we believe we've really got a really good product and service, but we're just trying to tell as many people as we can. We've done, I think, a really good job of getting our name out there over the last few years, and I think more and more people have probably heard about us, what we do, considering we're only a small little coatings company in Birmingham. But I think Sam and his team will really help us get a, you know, more professional feel out there, and really help spread the word and improve everything we do in that area. So yeah, really excited to be pushing that area at the moment, and improve what we're doing. So that's going to be a fun journey, I think. Okay,
so I know you were interviewed by Chris on SME Focus just under 2 years ago, so episode 168. So the last 2 years have been an amazing period of time with President Trump, or whatever you want to call him. So can I ask you, have things changed? How have you refined your plans in the last 2 years? Are the tariffs causing any issues on you? Tell us what's going on in the business world now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, tariffs have been a bit of an issue. I think we paint a lot of parts that we don't export a lot directly ourselves, but you know, if we're painting parts that go on Land Rover Defender or an Aston Martin DB12, those parts, a lot of those cars have been traditionally sold in the US and internationally. So there's definitely a bit of a hit there, although it hasn't been as bad as I thought it could be. I think the bigger challenge for us this year has been sort of the government's position on raising, you know, pension contributions and national insurance and minimum wage going up, and that was a real big hit for us as a small business, especially as we employ a lot of people. So you know, there was sort of choices that had to be made there. You've either got to take some cost out somewhere, or you've got to put your prices up, or you've got to do a combination, or you've got to work harder to get more work in through the door. So that's been a real challenge. And when you crunch those numbers, the amount of sales growth that we would need to maintain kind of the level of success we're having is enormous, and you can't get that growth overnight. So we're working really hard to grow the sales and what have you, and grow the business. But it's been hard the last few months, I would say. But we have actually grown sales, which is good. It's just a bit harder to make money, really.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I've mentioned the business has got an incredibly strong history tied to the automotive industry. You've got two photos behind you of sort of icons of automotive, but obviously over time you've tried to diversify it a little bit, and you were mentioning earlier that your location in Birmingham provides particular opportunities, or some interesting opportunities looking forward. So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of, you know, there's general diversification. You know, we're very good at what we do. coatings and what have you. So, you know, we'll be looking to explore other markets, and, you know, ultimately we can paint anything. So we'll be looking to push more in the medical sector and electronics parts, you know, and whatever other areas that we feel we can help our customers. But also, I think as a business, we've got to look at diversification in general, and where we are in Birmingham, I think there's a very exciting time coming up. Birmingham City Football Club, which is right around the corner from here, one of our near neighbours, they're putting a massive amount of investment into the city in terms of the football club and a new stadium, and, you know, it's going to be a sports campus, and it's going to be literally a stone's throw away from where we are at the moment. So that might bring other opportunities for us. We already do match day parking here for Birmingham City on a Saturday, so that's a little revenue stream for us. But we've got to find, you know, lots of new revenue streams going forward. But we're a mile and a half out of the city centre. You've got HS2 coming into Birmingham. You've got Knightshead Park development round the corner. You know, we've got to have an open mind. We don't know exactly how we can exploit those opportunities yet, but, you know, we'd be looking to speak to the football club and other partners around to see how we can sort of help that development, and see if any of the space that we've got here can be used and utilised to help that plan to grow Birmingham. There's transport links that will be coming from the city centre right past our door, right out to Birmingham Airport. So it's a really exciting time to see what else we can do in the world of business and commerce in Birmingham.
Okay, well, it's interesting, and it's great to hear some positivity about what is happening to a city centre, so that's cool. Talking about the core business, you've had a very long-standing reputation for investing in training, apprenticeships and your people. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've done, challenges, successes, thoughts? And I guess I'm also again tag on the request of any sort of advice or comments you can make for SMEs as well about investing in training and apprenticeships.
Yeah. So we really kind of started hitting that hard kind of early 2022, start of the Ukraine war, when supply chains were tightening, prices were skyrocketing, general inflation. I think people were holding on to people in those days, so wages were going up, and it was, for us, very difficult to find, you know, trained good people, you know, paint sprayers, preppers, polishers, powder coaters, etc. So we made a business decision then that we'd take a real long-term approach, and we set up the Frederick Cooper Learning Academy. We put a lot of effort in. We employed a manager in a training role who's been brilliant, Aaron, for us in setting up that learning academy. And we brought apprentices in. So on one end, it's sort of been apprentices that we brought through the business as sprayers and polishers, etc. But it's also been upskilling the workforce that we've got. So, you know, we advertise internally for people that work for us, you know, who we can sort of put those skills into, and we'll spend the time training people up as sprayers and polishers. We've created a career path for those people. So you can start as a level 1 sprayer and work your way up to a level 5, 6 sprayer, and people can see that there's a career path and a journey and somewhere to move on at Frederick Cooper, whether that's spraying, polishing, prepping, whatever. So we like to promote from within into the staff group as well. So, okay, you know, those guys who are our charge hands, team leaders, supervisors, foremen, I think, you know, most of those have come through the ranks at Frederick Cooper, and even into managers and directors roles. And when I think about it, blimey, I go back to 97 when I started. I spent 3 months powder coating. I spent 3 months paint spraying to learn on the tools. I ran a little team of 3 people as my first job. I then became a quality engineer. I then became quality manager. I then became personnel manager, you know, before I hit the sales route. So I've worked in every aspect of the business, and I think, you know, if people look at it as a long-term career, there's great opportunities in manufacturing businesses like ours. But I think for us, it's been a real success to take that long-term view. It's not going to find you a paint sprayer tomorrow, but it's going to find you 10 in 6 months' time if you take that route. And I think you've got to do the hard yards and put that training into people now. To, you know, it's like planting the tomato plants now, isn't it? You won't get the tomatoes until they've grown and germinated over a period of time. So that's what we're doing. We're nurturing those people and growing, investing in the long term of Frederick Cooper. Okay, fantastic. I think, as you say, it's great that people can see a future to it. It's one thing recruiting, but it's another developing and keeping. You know,
the people are such an expensive resource to actually do the work to keep them within the business is the real differentiator. So it's good to hear. I guess many people are going to watch this or listen to this podcast over a weekend. So can I ask you, what do you actually enjoy talking to people about, let's say, in the kitchen or at a party or at the pub, rather than when you sat in front of a screen talking on a camera? So what things do you talk about outside of work? What are your passions?
Well, I've tried talking in the pub to people about powder coating and paint spraying, but no one's having it really. So I think for me, it's definitely sports. Yeah, it's not the most exciting. It's definitely sports for me. I've mentioned Birmingham City earlier. I'm more of a rugby person myself. Played for a long time. Got kids that play hockey as well. Got kids that play hockey to a decent standard. And the other one for me going forward is golf. I've always loved my golf. And I think this weekend, we're 2 or 3 weeks away from the upcoming Ryder Cup. It was great to see Rory McIlroy hole an eagle putt to make a playoff and ultimately win the Irish Open at the weekend. So if we're talking sport this weekend, that was my big takeaway. But I'll talk to anyone about any sport for hours. If it involves a ball, I'll have a conversation with you about it in a pub, certainly.
I immediately start wondering how much work you and Sam are actually doing together, or how much is just golfing chat. But okay, I'll wait to see.
He may or may not be coming to our charity golf day on Thursday this week. So, but we're talking business, of course.
Of course. So without asking you what your plans are for your golfing handicap, can I ask you what plans you've got for the next 12 months, either personally or as a business, or what do you hope to achieve? What's the 12 months look like?
Yeah, I think for us, we're on a really good path. We're trying to grow the sales and get the business back to a level of profitability that we saw before Rachel Reeves came and sort of dipped her hand in our back pocket. So, for us, we're trying to do it by sales growth rather than other measures as much as we can. We've engaged with Pull the Pin, and they're helping us on the marketing side. We're trying to get our name out there a bit more. We've already got a nice pipeline of projects that are coming through, so we're gonna see that through and just keep growing. We're going to look at diversification, as I've mentioned as well. We're exploring two or three areas, and I think it's about putting in real professional business plans in those areas to see what we can target and see what opportunities there are for us. But apart from that diversification side, it's more of the same. We've got a really good business model. We've got a really good team of people. We've got a really good product offering in the service we offer in for powder coating and paint spraying. So we're going to be sort of beating that drum, getting our name out there, and hopefully coating more of people's parts in the automotive and other industries for them.
Okay. How do people go about finding out more about Frederick Cooper, and how would they find or follow or contact yourself?
Yeah, so the website's there, frederickcooper.co.uk. We do a lot on LinkedIn. We're quite active on social media, so you can always find out about what's going on my LinkedIn profile. Jon Stone, please follow me. We'd love for anybody who's interested to come and visit us and come and see us at Frederick Cooper. It's our biggest selling tool is getting our customers into the factory to see how their parts would be sprayed and how we'd look after them. So, but yeah, please follow me. So we update really regularly on social media. So we've got the charity golf day this week. So that's really good. We like to do a lot of stuff out there in the community and do events like that. So yeah, please take a look, and if you're interested in what we can do for you, drop me a note and you're welcome to come and have a look around Frederick Cooper.
Brilliant. Before I sign off and say thanks, do you have a final sentence or question that you'd like to sign off the episode with?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I think it's tough times for a lot of people in manufacturing. We had a competitor that went bust on us a few weeks ago, and kind of part of me thinks, well, we might pick up some work from that. Well, we didn't pick up any work, but I don't think there was any left. So it's tough out there for a lot of people. So I think my message would be, hang in there. The good times will come again. Sort of dig deep, fight the good fight, diversify where you need to, train and invest in your people, and the good times will come again. And for a lot of people, it's probably the lowest ever around now, but yeah, keep plugging away, and the good times are just around the corner, is what I'd say.
Sounds good. I think we're of a similar age, and I often say I've never known UK manufacturing to be particularly amazing. It's just a series of challenges, but yeah, they're the challenges. It's the industry I love, and yeah, the dips are smaller than maybe mainland Europe, even if the peaks aren't quite as high as mainland Europe.
Yeah, that's it. It's got to keep going. It'll be all right.
Indeed. Okie dokie. Well, thank you very much, Jon, for being a great guest. I will wrap up with the usual words and say to people, if you'd like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or in particular, if you'd like to appear in a future episode, please email us at inquiries@mtdcnc.com or contact myself, Stuart Whitehead, or Joe Reynolds. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. From me, Mark Weymouth at the Sensor Specialist Plus Automation. Cheers. Have fun.